Hello and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode we're going to have a look at 3 different Windows 10 mobile games again. And my name is Gerald, of course. I am going to use a couple of different accessories here, more or less, which is this one, so a Bluetooth mouse. I'm going to use my Foldable keyboard, which is this one, and I'm going to use the Xbox Windows wireless controller because one of the games in the mashup today is going to be playable with this in a pretty good way. And the games are going to be DOS or DOS 2022. I'm going to play Truck Cargo Off-Road 3D, and the last one will be Rocket Drift Stadium. All of them are available in the Windows Store for free, and of course, as you already know, I'm going to use my Lumia 950 XL, which is this one. It's a Windows 10 mobile and powered smartphone, which is connected by a USB-C connector at the bottom here, with my display dock, which is standing at the side. It's more or less this little box. Everything that is going to be shown in this video is created by the smartphone, which is connected to this more or less USB hub. So it's more or less a USB hub which is standing here, and the USB hub is connected by HDMI to the big screen here. It's no kind of mini computer or something involved or whatever. Everything is done by the smartphone. If you want to know more about Continuum and all of that, have a look at the corner up there. There are a couple of other videos where I'm going to talk about that more in depth. Other than that, let's start with the first game. The first game is going to be DOS 2022. It's more or less something like, I know it as Uno in the end. I'm not sure what you are familiar with it or which name it really has. It's at least close to Uno. I'm not sure if it's really the Uno one itself. I really don't know. In the end, it's this little game. You can play this game with friends over the internet or next to each other or whatever you want to, or just offline against some kind of KI bots or whatever you want to call them. It's not really KI, or at least they didn't call it KI when this came out, because when this came out, KI wasn't a thing, or not that much of a thing as it is today. Anyway, as you can see, you can play this online, offline, or with friends, so just choose whatever play mode you want to. And we are going to use the offline play mode in this case, and we are just going to play it. The modi doesn't really change much, so the game itself is the same. It's just about against who you are going to play. So I'm going to turn around to show you everything and give you a couple of impressions here. In the end, what I'm going to use here, mostly at least, is my mouse in this case. And as you can see, we just have the mouse pointer there, and I will have a look first off into the settings. As you can see, there's not much to see here, but you can select your language at first. If you start the game for the first time, then you're going to be asked for the language you want to play with and for your name. And and there's some kind of an avatar selection. It's more or less images of a couple of girls, and later on in the later ones there of a couple of boys, and you can just select one of them, and that will be your more or less avatar. As you can see, I selected this one, Fuch, and we have this girl there because I was just too lazy to get a boy. Other than that, I'm just going to play offline for now. And yeah, it's a nicely created game. As you can see, we have some kind of a music playing in the background there. And of course, as you can see, we have a couple of money more or less. I selected offline now. As you can see, we are going to play against 3 other players. So we are all together 4 players in this case. All of them has some kind of avatar here, as you can see. And this is more or less not the level of the player or something, but how many cards are still left. Because of course, in this game you have to get rid of all your cards. You have a couple of opportunities to do that. It's not very easy to win this game, but in the end, you're just clicking on one of your cards, more or less. Or if you want to, you can select more than one. And if you did that, then you're just going to click on somewhere where it's going to match, which this doesn't. So you will have to select, for instance, the same color and the same number is more important than the color. As you can see, we got one off. Now we are still at the game, so you can get one bonus discharge, so just get one of your cards off if you just don't want it or don't see any kind of reason to hold it. And other than that, you can of course get a new one if you need to, or you can just put it on somewhere else. Very important, if you already selected or put something somewhere, it's not going to be possible to put it there in the same round again. So you will have to select it first, so by selecting a couple of them at the same time, or just putting them one by each other more or less on the different tables here. It's a little bit hard to play because all the other players are more experienced in general than you, but anyway, this is the game you can play here. So we can discharge one of our cards. I'm not really sure what would be a good one. I'm just going to use this one just in case. Put that here, and as you can see, now we can end the turn. After that, as you can see, Carter is now playing, and he already did something there, and they are going to get rid of their cards. Of course, the end game more or less is to get at the first place more or less by not having any cards left. So you get all your cards on the play field here. If you got that, then you're going to win. DOS it's called because if you have 2 cards left, then you will have to pronounce it more or less. It's done automatically in this game, but in the end, if you didn't do it in Uno, for instance, you would have just played it and got rid of your last card. Then you wouldn't have won because you didn't pronounce Uno. So be very aware of that. Now we are at the moment playing here again. It's always indicated by this little glowing field or whatever you want to call that. And in the end now just try to get rid of everything you can here. Doesn't match like this. I'm not really sure how to match more than 2. I think you have to go in a line or something, so same color, same number, but I'm not really sure about that. And I'm very unsure what this does, because in the end, in Uno itself, for instance, it would be some kind of a throwback card or something like that, or just select anything you want. But I'm not really sure how it's done here. You will have to figure that out by yourself, but as you can see, it's a nice little game if you like this kind of card games with other people in the end. Very easy to play in the end, but you will have to play a little to get to know it better. Anyway, as you can see, she is going to get rid of only 1 card, more or less like we are, and we have 5 left. Ezra is probably going to win, or Carter is probably going to win, but we will see. I'm just going to put out my 7, so first off select your own card, then put it out, that's fine then. And after that you can try to match other cards, which isn't always easy, as you already can see here. You could select more than 1, but as mentioned before, I'm not really sure how to play them. I'm just going to end the turn here and see what's going on. Okay, Carter had to get 1, so he's not going to win this at first at least. Ezra also had to get 1. He's going to single match 1, but that's not very helpful for him, so he's not winning this in an instant. Otherwise he's at 2 cards, which is a good place to be, but whatever. Let's see, we have a little bit of a problem because I don't think that I can match anything here. As you can see, it doesn't match. And those are not going to match neither, so we will have to pick 1 too. And now we can discharge 1 because we picked 1 up. Which one do you want to discharge? I'm not sure at the moment. Anyway, we can play it still. No, we can't. Why can't we? Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I will discharge the double one then, so I don't have 2 of them. I'm not sure if this is a great move. Not really sure about that. Probably this is some kind of a power-up card or something which is easier to match for them, but we will see. Okay, Carter is very close to winning this. Ezra too. Yeah, Ezra won it. So any kind of remaining card is now added together, and these are the points for Ezra in this case. You can see it here. In the overview here, you can see Stella doesn't have any card points. I have no points, and Carter has none, but all the others, of course, have it. And now you can play this for a couple of rounds or whatever you want to do here, and it's always going to be the same. But I think you already got what the game is all about. So if you like this kind of card games, maybe you even know DOS or something, then it's a very nice one. Try it out. The next game I want to show you is Truck Cargo Off-Road 3D. This game is one of the games that is not playable by Continuum, but you will have to play it with the mirror mode on. So we are going to turn over there, and we are going to turn back for Rocket Drift Stadium. But for now, for this game, I will have to turn over. How do you do it? You get your smartphone here, you just click on the 3-point menu there, go to the display settings, and down below, if you just, after a while at least, if I'm allowed to do it, come on. Yeah, he's trying to, come on, go over there. I think, yeah, okay. So just a little lesson for you. If you are sitting on your keyboard in this case, this might harm your experience. Whatever. If you go down here, you can go to the advanced settings, and then you can go to mirror the screens. Now you can see everything that is going on my smartphone too. Big thing about this game is more or less that you should play it on your smartphone too. So if you are mirroring it, which is fine now, you can just go wherever you want, for instance down below here, and we are going to get the truck cargo. Oh, you don't see anything. Interesting. Sorry for that. Give me 1 sec. Yeah, okay. Accidentally switched back, doesn't matter. In the end, if I go to the truck cargo off-road, this one, we are going to go in. And as mentioned before, this game should be played with your smartphone because it's going to be your steering wheel for this game. And as you can see, it's a 3D game. It's going to be shown on the big screen, but you can only play it with your smartphone more or less, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of controls, which you will need in this game. Okay, so just go in then, press on play. Now you can select your different levels more or less. I'm going to select, let's say the first one again, doesn't matter. Just to show you what's going on here. It's a pretty nice game if you ask me. So in the end, a nice little 3D game where you are going to drive a truck around on a very bumpy road with a couple of different obstacles and stuff like that. And in the end you have cargo, 50% of packages in this case, and you will have to bring it to a destination. And here you can see your car. You are more or less steering this car by turning your smartphone. So the accelerator of your smartphone is going to be used, or the, yeah, let's say accelerator. It's not really, but doesn't matter. And the most interesting thing is that you should have a look at the cargo. You can see it's turning around and going in any kind of direction because I'm driving on a very bumpy road. And all you really have to think of, so the road itself isn't really hard to navigate through or something, but as you can see we are losing one of the cargo parts here, so that's a bad thing. You can see the yellow bar got down a little, and we can lose a maximum of 50% of our cargo here, and that's already a little bit hard for me to do. Okay, interesting. First time I played this was really easy, but I played it very slowly, so that might be the reason for that. Anyway, as you can see, graphics are pretty nice, I would say. And we can drive around with this little car. It's behaving very much like you would think it should behave, so it's nicely balanced and stuff like that. And yeah, you're just going to drive with this. It's a Ford. You can already see it at the mini logo here, so they took more or less the Liberty probably, but in the end Ford doesn't really have a problem with that. I'm very sure about that. To use that car. On the left side, you can see a couple of other things. One of them is more or less the... No, come on, go over there. It's more or less the rear drive, so you can go into another direction here. And we are just going to drive along. As you can see, we have a couple of different obstacles here, some kind of walls, there's very big stones, and we have, of course, some kind of trees from time to time. You will have to use the brake sometimes. The brake is a big one. This is a rear part. It doesn't matter if you want to brake your car, you can use the rear one too, but it's going to drive backwards after a while, of course. And as you can see, a very bumpy road ahead. So we will have to make sure to drive there, and there is more or less our target. As you can see, we will have to drive in this yellow, come on, yellow shine there, very much to the middle, and if you are in, you're just going to hit the brake, and as you can see, you get a performance level, a timer level, and of course how good you were in the end with a star part. It's a very nice and simple game in the end, but I really like it. If you like this kind of simulation games or stuff like that, then this might be your game. Try it out. So let's go out here again, and if you want to go back to your Continuum gaming experience, then you can just click on your part here, and in general you should have all the part there still open. So Continuum, if you click on that, you're going to go back to the Continuum options or Continuum menu, and now we can play any kind of games with the normal Continuum mode in this case, and we are going to do that because I'm just going to click here on the blue bar at the top. 1 second. Otherwise you're going to see both of the screens. You can do that too if you want to have two open, but I don't want to because the games are not that easy for the smartphone, sometimes at least, and so we want to only have one of the games open at the time. Anyway, we are going to play Rocket Drift Stadium, and Rocket Drift Stadium is very close to something like Rocket League, but in a single game fashion. They really tried to do Rocket League, I would say, but didn't have enough players or whatever it was. Anyway, you can play it by yourself, and it's going to be very similar, but you're not going to drive around with a car and trying to put in a ball into a stadium or something. In the end, it is exactly that, but it doesn't really matter. So the ball, if it's going somewhere, it really doesn't matter. At least it's the first two or a couple of levels in the end. And if you are driving around, you are just going to have to drive through different kinds of goals or whatever to get to the end of the game. Or better to say, win the levels in the end, because there are a couple of them. I'm going to go to my all apps list here and show it to you. Rocket Drift Stadium, there we are. And this game is the one we are going to play with the Xbox and its wireless controller, which is really nice to play with. You can play it with a keyboard, for instance, too. That's fine, but it's much nicer to play it with the controller in this case. If you want to do that, just let the game start, and after that, activate your controller. Otherwise, you're not going to see that the controller is connected or anything, because he's not really recognizing the controller before you are in the game. So now we can just activate it. It's going to blink a little, and after that it's connected again. And I'm not sure if I can use it in the menu. No, it doesn't seem like it, but we are going to play it afterwards, after we are in the game itself. Then it should work even. So we need the mouse in the menu itself. So let's have a look at first at the different options we have here. So you can of course select a language in this case. A couple of them are available. I'm going to use English in this case. You can select different kinds of graphic settings. I'm going to go with medium. That's totally fine for my smartphone. I just don't know what will happen if I go to high or very high, so I'm not going to use that. It doesn't really matter, I think, which kind of controls you are going to use if you want to play it with Xbox One as wireless controller, in this case, or any kind of other gamepad. But yeah, whatever you want to use there, just leave it in. And now I'm just going to click on the green bar. And as you can see, we have a couple of different options of cars now. Very important, only a couple of them are going to be available for you because, of course, you only have a couple of different money options here. Interesting part is these are dollars, these are coins or whatever. I don't think that there are two different games in this, or two different currencies in this, but doesn't really matter. If you are in here, you can now just, for instance, try to activate a couple of different other options. For instance, more or less a power up. For this, if I click on that, as you can see, we get less money here, so it's more or less the same part. And I'm going to increase the steering and the acceleration. No, I can't. But these are the options for the engine itself, so anything that helps you there. And if you don't like the color of the car, you can, for instance, go in here too. Problem is, we don't have enough money to do that, but you can, of course, if you want to, already have a little bit of a look at it, even look from on different kinds of angles on it and stuff like that. So it's a nice little thing, like, yeah, in some kind of games where you have this garage part, this is more or less a garage part. And now you are just going to buy it if you can, but we can't. So we are just going back and going to go into the game itself. As mentioned before, we have a couple of different levels here which you can select. I played 1 and 2 at the moment, level 3 is the next one. It's of course going to be harder and harder, so for the sake of the game here itself, I'm just going to go with the first one again. And as you can see, we are able to use our gamepad here in this case, which is a great thing. And now you are just going to be asked, more or less, to drive through the different goals or whatever you want to call that there, checkpoints in the end. And here you can see, this is why I'm referring to this like it would be Rocket League or something like that, but it's really not. So it really doesn't matter if you get any kind of parts in there. All you really have to care about are these goals or these checkpoints there. And as you can see, you only have now about 13 seconds left there. And most importantly, you will have to match that. I'm not sure if I'm going to make that. It's pretty far off. Yeah, we are not going to do it. Anyway, as you can see, we get the golds there. As mentioned before, we failed this, so let's play it again. Doesn't really matter. Be very fast, you have more or less 1 minute to do it. Sounds easy, and for the let's say the 2 first games or something, it's pretty easy. But after a while, it's not going to be that easy anymore. It's really very, very hard to do, especially because the cars are very, very drifty on this underground here. So what you will see here, you can already see it, I'm always drifting around with the keyboard. That's close to impossible to do everything here. But in the end, as you can see here, it's pretty fine. We have more or less the same scenario as in Rocket League or something, with the cars where we can drive around. As you can see, we are drifting here in a very hard way in the end, but very easy to play with the controller. I really like it, how it's behaving with the controller, and I really hate it, how it's behaving with the keyboard. So just try it out. As you can see, you get a couple of different options, or better to say scores here. In the end, you have a drift score, which is going to help you. So if you're drifting a lot, you are getting more money. You have a level bonus, of course, and the time bonus you can do here. And after a while, you will be able to, for instance, get a new kind of color for your car. So let's try again with the next part. I don't think, there we are, we have a lot of drift points we are going to get this round. I don't think that it's important which kind of these checkpoints you are going to drive through first. First off, I thought only the green ones are going to be the ones we should drive through, but it seems that they are just switching over to the one that is closest to you. Oh, that was very bad. Drive back a little bit, go in, perfect, thank you. And I'm pretty sure we're not going to make it because I already drifted a lot and got problems, like you can see here. But let's see if we... it's very close. No, we can't. I don't even see where the last goal here is. Probably over there somewhere, and that will take us too long. Only thing I really don't like very much about the game is how the camera is moving around. So after a while it's going to go behind your car, but sometimes you're just driving to the camera and you just don't know where you are and what's happening. So as you can see, we can now drive through it, so it's even going to count it as you can see, but it really doesn't matter. The level is already over and we lost this one. With a little bit of a higher drift score, of course, but doesn't matter, we lost it. So, this is more or less what I wanted to show you for this episode. I hope you had fun with it, of course. I hope you had fun with it, of course. I hope you liked the episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would happily welcome you to the crew here. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day. If you have any kind of comments, questions, whatever, put them down below in the commentary section. Other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, see you in the next episode, and bye. Bye!